to share before you sell, and really consider yourself as a person who serves people as opposed to selling to people. And I think if you get up in the morning with the attitude of serving as opposed to selling, I think the money will definitely come, and the people that will connect with you and evangelize your business will definitely do a lot more of that if they see you as a servant and not a salesperson. So that's my brief for now. Tim?
Yep, absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly with that. I think you've really got to give to receive, and both Johnny and I do that through the various media and channels that we use. Like I use podcasting to give away a lot of free information, free books, and obviously a blog, as well as obviously paid courses, and then of course Periscope, Scopes, and now Blabcast, another way that we can give away or give you free advice and guidance. But please don't be shy. Jump in that seat. There's an open seat there, and we're really sort of inviting you to experience how, as online instructors and coaches, we can use this brand new technology to really help and assist you in a coaching capacity to guide you along the way. And saying, like I said, Johnny's got a wealth of knowledge, and we'd really like you to take advantage of his time and ask him questions.
Yeah, and the other thing, Tim, that you mentioned with regard to, I mean, there's a lot of ebooks and free courses and free material out there. So I think people, particularly with the likes of Blab here as well, is give people plenty of opportunity to ask questions, because we can give away as much free knowledge and experience and expertise, and we might call it free, but the reader still has to invest time, and time is the most precious asset we have. So if we can short circuit the learning by giving as much opportunity for people to ask, because they will have their own specific question, or it might need to be phrased in a particular way that resonates with them, that they didn't get until they heard it in some, the cliche, let me tell you another way, or let me say that another way, and then people go, oh, now I get it. So, give people using this platform and Periscope or whatever it might be, give them plenty of opportunity to ask questions. And I think this particular platform, because it's, I know everything is going mobile, but I'm on the laptop. I know you're on the Mac, Tim. It's just easier for people to type questions. It's easier for us as the hosts of the Blab here to see the questions come in on the right-hand side as I rudely take my eyes off the camera and look on the right-hand side. And also, as you see there, if you use /Q, it highlights your comment in the comment feed as a question. And for the broadcaster, then, we're drawn more to seeing the word question in a nice gray brown color come up as a question for us as well. The other advice is preparation. Obviously, I had a slight hardware issue there with the microphone. Tim and I were testing a couple of minutes ago, and Tim had to change over to his son's Mac rather than the PC. So, be prepared from a hardware point of view. It is technology at the end of the day. Blab is still in beta, as it says up there on the top left. So you might have your side right, and then something doesn't work at their end. It's all pretty new. I'm not sure what the numbers are like. We're at 55 viewers, 12 watching live. I don't know if that goes into the hundreds of thousands eventually, Tim, for us. Will Blab hold up? But I'm looking forward to breaking it from that point of view. And also to be prepared with what you're going to talk about. I know it's kind of...
We lost your volume again, Johnny. While we're waiting for just answering this question. What methods do you follow up suggest using after Blab to reach out to attendees? That's a good question. I don't really know whether we get a list of who actually attended the Blab, but you see up the looks like,
am I back, Tim? Sorry.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Mark Timberlake is in the room. Mark is also here we go. This is great. I can just sit back and let you gurus talk, because Mark is also he runs OV, which is the goodness gracious, OV, online video and education, not entrepreneurs or something, but he runs a lot of what they call Hangouts, Google Hangouts. So this is going to be a different sort of platform for Mark too. Mark has got a lot of Udemy courses. He's a prolific Udemy instructor. So you've got Johnny and Mark. I can just sit back and drink my water when Mark comes on. The other thing too, Johnny, while we're waiting for Mark to come into the room, the reason why it's so important for us as online instructors to reach out during this, with this medium, whether it be Periscope or Blab, is that our courses are static, and so we create our courses either in written form, or by video, whatever. But they are sitting there, and we are then making the assumption that we have communicated our message and our material in a clear to understand way. And what we've got to understand is that in an online environment, our message is going out around the world, and not everybody speaks our native language natively, and we can't just assume that we are getting our message across. So coming to this sort of environment where it's interactive, because even if they ask a question on our course, and then we answer back in written form, we're still assuming that that we're being clear in what we're saying, and we may not. So coming into this interactive environment where they can ask, or they can jump into the hot seat and say, we'd love somebody to jump in and take that seat and be coached. If you've got any questions, here's hundreds of dollars worth of free coaching coming your way.
Yeah. And I just say, with regard to the follow-up, again, the obvious perhaps thing to do, but maybe again, bearing in mind, serve before you sell. The obvious thing to do would be put up a link to a landing page whether you gather emails. But I think in this particular environment, I think it's all about the content. I think if people, if they like the content, they will follow you here on Blab. I think, if they like it even more, I'm sure they'll follow you on Twitter. If they go in and look at your Twitter profile, they'll probably go to your website, and of course, all good websites make the visitor or encourage the visitor to take action. So using Blabs to try and grow your email list, not sure if that's going to be the ideal practice. I think if we serve first, and I think if people want to join your list, I tend to join more lists now where people don't do it in terms of getting me to subscribe. I have a look at their content. I know there's welcome mats, and they have huge success rates and all these pop-up windows and various things. They have massive fallout rates too, as far as I know. So follow up afterwards. I think just do lots of content, and I think people will naturally gravitate. And just because you have their email list, if the content is poor, they will unsubscribe quicker than they can click a mouse. So that's all I'd say on following up afterwards,
Absolutely. And I think in this environment too, it's very easy just to drop a link into the comment bar. So if they want to learn more about you and what you have to offer, you just drop the link, and it's up to them. Along the top, for those who are new to Blab, along the top you can see everybody who's currently in the room. And just by hovering your mouse over, then you can start to follow. So that's another way for us, if we want to follow up with people, is we just basically follow them.
Yeah. I just noticed as well, Tim, you might have seen me do it there, but I have a Post-it, when I want to go for a drink of water or something that you don't necessarily that I want to broadcast as I take a drink of water. I just have a quick post-it and back I am. So I don't know. I just thought of that there because I know in sometimes in Hangouts and stuff like that, you want to turn off the camera or whatever. So that's just a very quick, rough tip with a post-it. Is there nothing these guys can't do?
I tell you what, worth $1 million.
And you can see my to-do list on the back wall here is also it's also to do with. I mean, I use various to-do lists and write things down and stuff, but I see those every morning, and there's no better reminder to get up off my ass and do those tasks than seeing them stuck in front of me every morning. So that's a slight aside on a to-do list tip. But and also a post-it to block your camera, particularly if the significant other walks by without their bathrobe on or something like that. Then again, you shouldn't be broadcasting in the bathroom or bedroom.
Exactly, yeah. Well, then it's your home, and I suppose they can walk around.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's when we're having more and more people come and go, which is the flavour of these new platforms like Periscope and Blab. So for everybody who's joined, this is a hot seat situation. So Johnny has got a lot of experience in coaching on getting people who may not necessarily even want to do the course themselves to get courses online. I've been teaching and presenting for a number of years too. So we're here to answer any question that you may have. So, and if you want to jump in that hot seat, you are more than welcome. We'd love to have a chat with you and answer your questions and really show the power, because what this Blab is all about is to show you the power of Blab and how we can have these hot seat conversations.
Sure.
Even in the chats, if you want to answer me a question, do you currently have an online course or coaching program? Can you say yes or no to that? Listen, let's get some interaction happening. Yeah, we can see that, Mark. I said I actually had to. Are you getting a message to say share your camera and devices? That's one thing. Or I actually had to get off my.
I'm just sharing on Facebook here and that the Blab is on.
I found something very, very interesting, probably old hat, but it's something called If This Then That. And it's a recipes for posting automation. And when I first started watching Periscopes, I started watching Periscopes by a person called Randy Gage. And what he would do was that when the Twitter post came through on his feed with the link to his Periscope, he would then manually cut that and then paste it into his Facebook to notify his Facebook followers that he was on live.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, if this then that, so it's iftt.com. You can actually set up automation. So you can say if a tweet on Twitter has #Periscope, automatically create that post on LinkedIn or on Facebook or whatever else. Or if a Twitter post has a hashtag whatever, then post automatically to Facebook, because we've been able to post automatically Facebook to Twitter for years, but this is going back the other way. And so, okay. So today I did a Periscope, and unfortunately the link back to Facebook didn't work because somehow my Facebook channel got disconnected, but the link back to LinkedIn did. And so I got an automatic post on my LinkedIn where I've got almost 15,000 connections saying that I was live on Periscope. So that's, if you interested in that, I'll put that link in down the bottom to as well.
I see Craig has a question there about Calatu for blogging. I haven't used it. Been using WordPress for years. So I must check it out and see what it's all about, or the advantages over WordPress. I guess WordPress is obviously the default with lots of apps and plugins and more established, but I'd love to know more about it. I see Mark is trying to join us there as well.
Now, Mark's got an amazing setup. He recently did a Google Hangout or a YouTube video on his studio setup, and I mean, this guy has got, he's got the works. So it's definitely not a computer power issue. I know that much. Okay, so that link there, I'm just typing that into the bottom for that posting automation. It's if this then that, so ifttt.com, and it's like there's hundreds of different ways that you can automate posts between all different platforms, all different social media platforms. So,
have you clicked allow for Mark there, Tim?
Yeah. I've been accepting him.
Okay, so just in the viewers there and those that are watching, if you want to put Y or N in for yes or no, if you have or are creating an online course, in fact, you could join us. Is Roy going to join us there?
We got Roy. Welcome, Roy.
Hey, I just want to say real quick from Mark. Mark, if you're listening, look up at the top of your screen left. Should be some kind of a button that says allow, and that'll bring you into the room. On a Mac, I'm not quite sure where it is. It might be in the center or over on the right top.
No,
look somewhere there. There's an allow button that you need to still click. I was just wanting to help because I saw he's having trouble coming in. I've been here for about 2 months, so I pretty much know the system. So if you need some help, just let me know, and I'll be more than happy to help you. I'll just jump off now.
Awesome. Thanks, Roy.
I see, before you left there, Roy, I see you said Y there. So I'd be interested if you want to come back on just on what you're using for your online courses, Fedora, Udemy. So Roy, if you want to jump back on for really quick for a couple of.
Yeah, sure.
Seconds.
I'm back.
Sure,
okay, I'm in the early stages, and I'm doing this with a friend of mine. We're going to do it as co-creators. And we're looking at the Udemy or Udemy. I don't know how to pronounce that. What's the correct pronunciation, guys?
It's up to you.
I think most of it's a play on the word academy. So if you use that pronunciation, then it's Udemy. Like I can't say academy the way that you'd say Udemy, but maybe academy is pronounced different around the world too. But to me, it's the Academy of You is their tagline, so I guess it's pronounced the same as academy, which is Udemy to me. So
yeah, that's what I've been saying, Udemy. So
yeah, we're both right, Roy.
Right on. Yeah. I thought it was a play on the word academy. So
yeah,
I've been reading a lot. I've been watching a few YouTube videos. I've actually attended one of Mark's Hangouts.
Okay.
I don't know, about 2 months ago or so. He had somebody on that I was familiar with. So haven't really put anything on yet. And I'm thinking more along the lines of a higher ticketed type product, somewhere along the lines of $4.97.
Wow.
I noticed that most of the products on Udemy are not that.
Well, recently Udemy has put a cap on, so the most you can charge on Udemy is $300, and the least you can charge is $9. So you can't even do a $5 course. So it's either free or between $9 and $300. If you're looking for high ticket, as Johnny will also recommend, you'd be looking at use Fedora. Correct, Johnny?
Yeah. So my advice would be to put the course both on Udemy for its massive marketplace, but ultimately long-term build your own school. You have more control. Ultimately, you have the email address of your students, which is a key part of it, but you have much more control on the pricing, and also you can introduce a live element to the pricing. So you can have Goldilocks pricing on your Fedora school. So you can have 45, 195, 495. And the 495 could probably include the first two, but also maybe a half day or an hour or 4 hours a month, 4 1-hour calls of coaching. So it's a lot easier and an awful lot more flexibility to to build that into your course. So my suggestion is get familiar with Fedora. They do a lot of great webinars. There's a lot of great free stuff, and they provide a lot of great education-based marketing by way of free material like the $1 Million Instructor course, and their webinars are fantastic. And Fedora is as easy as WordPress. It's drag and drop, upload your videos. You've got it plugs into Zapier, so you can make it talk to Infusionsoft. You can make it talk to ActiveCampaign. You know, you can make it talk to MailChimp quite easily, although I'm a big fan of ActiveCampaign over and above MailChimp. You can monitor student progress. There's just so many reasons why you got to consider your own university, your own academy, in addition to Udemy. Now, I mean, there's a friend of mine on Udemy. He's making $700 a month. He's learned it all the hard way. He's got one course up there. In fact, he's building version 2 because it's out of date. And yet passively, without any marketing, without any blabbing, webinars, even email marketing, he's making $700 a month. So you cannot knock the power of the 7 million plus students that Udemy have.
That was enticing to me.
Sorry?
That was the part that was enticing to me. You know, even though you give them 50%, I believe is what it is. It's well.
Yeah, and it's small. Right? It's small numbers. I mean, and they do. You know, to get that sort of income, you got to get onto their promotions, into the promotions email, and they're going to be selling that for $10, and you're going to get $5, probably a little bit less. And if it's through an affiliate, you're going to even get less than that. So there's no denying that it's a nice trickle of income, and that's the lower end. I mean, you know, there are people rocking it out on Udemy at £1,000 a day, $1,000 a day. So, but that's, you know, I think they're more the exception than the rule. I definitely think, you know, the marketplace cannot be ignored. It's you know, Udemy to online courses is like Amazon to books, and who doesn't have a book and doesn't consider putting it on Amazon? But to me, exactly. A book, an online course is a modern day book, and you're putting stuff on Kindle for $2.99, where you can put a course on Udemy for $295.
Absolutely.
And probably, I know there's a little bit more technology involved in creating an online course than there is in writing a book, but ultimately, it's all about content and ideas and opinions and experience and thoughts that you have that you put down on paper. So why not put them into PowerPoint?
Oh, I totally agree with
$15
that. I'm a prolific note taker anyway. So now, Fedora.com?
It's usefedora.com. It's an interesting why they picked it, because Fedora is also an open source operating system, and it's also a hat. But so the website is usefedora.com.
Okay, so I'm going to put that in here.
Put it in for you, seen as Tim's beating me to it.
Make sure that it's correct here. Okay, great. This is why I love Blab, because prior to this, I had no idea. And I really wasn't even going to come on. I was just going to listen to you guys. And I saw that Mark was having problems. So, you know, serendipity, whatever you want to call it, it's a good thing. Yeah, now, you mentioned some mail, third-party mailing. How about AWeber? Does it?
No, sorry. That's my impulse reaction. Look, the guys at AWeber are good guys and everything else, but the key to email marketing is automation. And I don't mean automate yourself out of the conversation or bombard people with emails, but you got to be a little bit more clever. So ActiveCampaign, it's priced the same as AWeber, but it's on a par with Infusionsoft in terms of functionality. The big thing is automation. So, for example, you send an email to Tim and you have another one waiting based on what Tim did with the first one. So if Tim didn't open the first one, you can have another one waiting that goes out a day later going, "Hi, Tim, I noticed you didn't get a chance to open the email yesterday, but I really don't want you to miss this blab or this offer or this book or this whatever." Mm-hmm. But if Tim did open it, you have another email waiting going, "Hi, Tim, thanks for reading my email. I noticed you didn't get a chance to register," or whatever it might be. So you can have a couple of scenarios mapped out, I would suggest you'd even do it with Post-its on the wall going, if I was to do this manually, how would I do it? What would I say to Tim first? What would I say to Tim second, based on whether he opened the email or not? And you plan out that scenario, you line it up in Active Campaign, and it does the work. And like, you can start at, you can start for free. You can start at $9 for a month for a couple of hundred subscribers. And it's tiered pricing like that. But the functionality will blow your mind, and it plugs into every app known to man. It'll plug into PayPal, it'll plug into Eventbrite, it'll plug into, you name it. It'll plug into Fedora, which is key. So when a student signs up to your school, you can send them an email. And if they sign up to your school but not your course, you can go, well, hi, Tim, I see you signed up to my school, but you didn't sign up to the course, or whatever it might be. So, it's Active Campaign. .com, really, really great solution, and nothing against Aweber, but it blows it out of the water.
Nice. I never even heard of them. Thanks, Joe, for the .com. What about partnerships? One of the good things about Udemy was the fact that they send the money straight to my account and my partner's account without us having to split it up. Do they do that at Fedora as well?
No. Simple. I'm afraid not at the moment. You got to work that out.
Is there a workaround, or no?
No, not that I've seen.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, I tell you what. I'm going to make room for someone else if someone else wants to jump in, and this has been very useful. So thank you for that. I'll continue listening from the audience.
Thanks, Roy.
Thanks, Johnny. Thanks, Tim. Mark, are you having problems still?
Come on in, Mark.
Come on, Mark. We want to hear from you.
Thanks, Roy. I'd actually like to share coming along, talking about using Udemy and hooking into that 7 million student database that everybody gets excited about. But as Johnny rightly said, before you can plug into that database, you've got to opt into their promotions. They're not going to promote you unless you opt into them. So what I do is when I create a course, I'll put it up onto Udemy first, and I'll give away some free coupons, usually to instructors, to hopefully get some feedback and some reviews. And then I just stop. I'm not going to do any more promotion on that. I'm going to position my course organically. So I'm going to use keywords and SEO to ensure that my course sits up high in the categories. And then I just leave it there, and I just totally work on the organic Udemy sales. And that can rightly so, if you can get 50%. But recently on my last course, I've got a Periscope course for online instructors and coaches. And recently on my last course, I had a $27 launch special, and then after a couple of weeks, I increased the price to $47. And through Udemy, sales are still coming through at the $27. And strangely enough, I'm only getting 35%. Now, I've had some affiliate sales. Now, if it comes through an affiliate, you get 25%. And if you use your own coupon, you get 97%, but they get the email address, right? So the strategy is I don't promote to Udemy. I promote to use Fedora. So if I'm taking the time to generate the student, I'm not going to give them to Udemy. It really, as a marketer, that really grates on me that either I spend my money on a Facebook ad or I put out a lead magnet or something else, but I'm doing the actual work to generate that student, and then they won't give me their email address, and then they're going to dictate to me how and when I'm going to communicate with that student, and that doesn't work for me. I'm maybe a bit of an anarchist, I don't know. So what I do is that I'm not going, you're going to leave money on the table if you don't put your course on Udemy, but you've got to be prepared to just take the $10 sales. But, the $10 sales come in every day, and you're not doing anything for it. It's all organic. And then your strategy is, if you're going to then drive traffic, you drive them to your Fedora school, where you have control over your school, you have control over your students, you have their email addresses. That's my strategy, and that's what I'm doing quite successfully at the moment. What do you reckon, Johnny? Johnny, microphone. No sound. Can't hear you, man. Okay. Where else have we got? Does anybody else want to jump into the hot seat and get some coaching? I saw one person before saying that they hadn't had a course yet, but they were thinking about a course.
Can you hear me now?
No, we can give you. Yep,
Okay.
Got your back, mate. So we can give you some guidance to help start you going. In fact, I've got a course coming out where it's called Ideas That Sell, and how to actually come up with your topic and your market research. And part of that course creation is I'll actually research topics for people who join the early bird list. So if you're thinking about a course and you don't think you don't know where it's going to be popular or whatever else, just pop over to my site, jump on the early bird list. There's absolutely no obligation. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just trying to help you. So as part of that course, you can have your topic and market research done for you. And then also as part of that, I'm giving away 5 free copies of the course once it's done, and they're only going to the people on the early bird list. The information on that's on my website. I put the link into that earlier on, but it's ecoursedomination.com, and on the right hand side you'll find the Ideas That Sell, which, coming back to what Johnny said, was the strategy that I learned by doing the $1 Million Instructor course off the floor. So
the other thing I'd say about using Udemy, and I agree with a lot of what you say about the control that they have and the email list and so on and so forth. But one great thing about Udemy is that they have to approve the quality of the audio and of your video. And they also have a great free course on how to get your first course on Udemy. So there's a lot of reasons just to try it out for that, to get their feedback on your audio and to go through their suggestions on sorry, I'm just turning something off here, to get their suggestions and feedback on your course as well. So it's useful from that point of view. It's also useful to type in and have a look at the price points and of similar courses to yours. It's also useful to see what people are saying and the questions that they're asking, and are there any gaps that are there that allow you to do a better course than the ones that are already on Udemy as well. Big hello there to Trevor. Ireland has taken over your blab here. I see Trevor is on from Sligo, and Rebecca, who I'm hopefully having lunch with at 1 o'clock in our passive income mastermind group here. I see Rebecca's just joined as well. We have to give Mark 10 out of 10 for determination. All I see is his face flashing. Let me in. He's like,
I would love to see Mark on, because I actually invited him on as an expert because of I just wanted you two guys on with your, just with your levels of expertise. But unfortunately, he just.
Let me see if I can walk Mark through this. Mark, are you on a desktop? If you can just type Y or N in the side chat. Yep. Go to the address bar over on the very left where the HTTP is. You'll see a padlock. Click the padlock, and you'll see a tab that says permissions, and you should be able to find out what you need from there. And if you have more than one camera or microphone, go to the right side of your URL, and you can change it there where you see the little camera. Hopefully you have that on your setup, and you can join here any second now. Yeah, Mark is certainly persistent, which is great. The one thing I do love about Blab, it is easy once you know where the controls are.
Yeah, I said I've been wanting to get onto one of Mark's
Hangouts. Yeah, Hangouts
for a while. But when I first bought my computer, it wasn't to do this sort of work. It was just to check emails. Even though I've got a background in IT, I've been a software designer and all sorts of stuff, and I've put myself into working with the lead athletes and that sort of stuff. So it wasn't my thing. So I didn't buy a very expensive computer, and now it's come back to kick me in the butt. But I've accommodated my son's Mac.
Mark, there he is.
Welcome.
Obviously, those helped. Oh my goodness. All right, I'll jump off. Mark.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to Mark Timberlake.
Can you hear me? Have you got audio?
We certainly can. We've got audio. Welcome, Mark. It's great to see your face.
I don't know how many Hangouts I've done, and Blab is it's supposed to be easy to connect to. How are you guys doing?
Doing great, and thank you so much for coming along. Because once again, I think you and Johnny, you can share some great information. And as you can see, Mark, it's slightly different to the Hangouts because we've got just the people sitting on the side who can ask questions, and they can even highlight a question for us by typing in a /Q and then the question I'm doing now. So they stand out in the so the questions stand out in the bar, and then you can bring people in and out during the course of the Blab. But now I'm here to tell you face to face that now that I've commandeered my son's MacBook, that I'll be on a panel for you, and I've got a nice plain background too. So
yeah, it's been interesting. Thanks to whoever just guided me through that, because that is not intuitive to go into the address bar, click the unlock, and then go over and change the camera. Not intuitive. I'm used to.
So what was the pop-up that was being blocked?
Whatever, whoever helped me then, I'm not sure who they worked with. I was having a connection panic. But thank you for that. No, you had to go in and unlock the bar and then the camera as well. So that was all it was. People saying, wow, can you see the sound and stuff? And I couldn't see it. Just 1 second.
What are you doing, Johnny? You're sideways, man.
I'm sideways? Okay, sorry.
Okay, guys, look, we're
talking about Blab. I just said I'd switch over to the phone and see. So
good, awesome.
Because I've got to try.
Once again, I'm an Android, so they don't have the app for Android yet. But guys, look, please, you've got two very experienced course creators and online marketers. Like Mark not only has a myriad of very, very good courses on Udemy, I know because I'm a student of a number of them, but he also has the OB group on Google, has many Hangouts, is a social, an SEO and marketing expert. So please, if you want to jump in that seat and get some coaching, you've got some real talent sitting in the room here. So I really encourage you to take advantage of that.
Just say hi to Johnny. I haven't been in a Hangout or a Blab with Johnny before, so hi, Johnny. I think it's the first time I met. So, yeah, you was talking earlier about third-party platforms. We've got a Hangout on Sunday about this. I won't talk about it too much now, but I think with third-party platforms, what's really important is to differentiate your courses. I think if you're going to have stuff on Udemy and then on another platform, you almost want to create separate courses, because what I found was splitting my marketing funnel, trying to get people to go. They weren't sure where to go. Do they go to my website or do they go to Udemy? And you got to be really careful with that with your marketing funnel. I tried it for a little while, and I just found that the sign-up rate to Udemy was 10-1. Really interesting. So it's really hard to drive new students to a third-party platform, unless I think, unless you're willing to spend maybe a little bit of money on, some Facebook ads, some really niche targeting. You can still do it, but my own experience with that was, if you're going to do one course, you need to decide where you're going to put that course. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And just to Roy in the sidebar, I do appreciate that it is 3:42 a.m. in the States. It's actually 8:43 in the evening here, and it's about midday, coming up to midday in the UK and Ireland. But on future Blab, we will be changing the times to facilitate the different time zones, because that's another thing to consider, that where are most of your students at, and it's I picked 8 p.m. just because I could. But in the future, I will be looking at doing these probably around about 1 or 2 in the afternoon, which will make it a better time for everybody in the other parts of the world. And obviously, we just have to change up the times of these things so that more people can get on and it suits more people. But yeah, come on, Mark. There's some more of your because you are Mr. Like you really.
Out there, if you've got any sort of expertise or knowledge, that's just what we're using it to be. If you've got expertise or knowledge on something, and you're willing to learn a few technical skills. It's the technical skills that's actually the hardest thing for a lot of people. Doing video, doing audio. Audio's the kicker when you come to Udemy. They really do like high quality audio. But once you crack that, if you've got skills or expertise, then those skills or expertise are something that people can buy. And what it is understanding that education is a commodity. So if you can create educational material, you're creating something you can sell. It's literally a commodity. Think about the things that people will actually buy. They'll buy a house, they'll buy a car, they'll buy clothes, they'll buy food, and they'll buy education. So when you've got your base commodities for living, education is one of the key commodities. So people will spend a lot of money on education. So we know it's a proven market. And so if you've got the ability to educate people about anything, then, now's the time. Because what's happened, and this is what people need to understand, what's actually happened in the world, what's changed, why it's becoming so prevalent now, rather than, it's been around for 5 years. I remember 10 years even. I remember when I learned how to become a commercial photographer, I started about 10 years ago. I started off in commercial photography services five years ago as a business. And I went online and I learned online, and I went to Kelby.com, Kelby Training, and just paid £25 a month. And all these experts were teaching me how to, and I learned the skills to become a commercial photographer online. And I think if people understand that, education is a commodity, then it becomes really, really exciting, because you can create one course, one product, and you can sell that course, you can sell that product over and over and over again, whether it's $500, whether it's $10, whether it's $5. It's absolutely massive. But the real difference is this, and I've got a friend who lives in Zambia, and he's African, and he explained to me that what's happened.
They're in the other chat as well.
What he's explained to me in. We've got some, yeah. I think what's happened in a lot of countries is they don't have broadband infrastructure, but with smartphones they've skipped it. So what that now means is they now have access to the internet. They now have access to education, and with Udemy, and let's be honest, the average price, that's the selling price. With Udemy, they now have access to vocational education and business skills. So that they can go on there, learn how to start up a business. They can go on there, learn how to increase their vocational skills. And that means that education now, the demographic that can access education at affordable level is and that's the market.
Hello, Christina. Have you got? Can't hear you. No. We've got no audio there, Christina. I'm sorry. Sometimes. Yeah. Oop. Now I've just killed everybody.
Yeah. So. That's the big picture. That's what people need to see. There's this opportunity to educate, and we're talking. There's multiple ways to a large income now online, doing online education. And what's the beauty of Udemy is they host. They've already got nearly. I imagine there must be near 8 million people people now, students actually engage with the platform, have actually taken courses on the platform. That's massive. That's why they've got the advantage, because they've got the platform. They're like eBay. When eBay came out, a lot of people tried to compete, but what really matters is who has the traffic. Udemy have the traffic. So we start putting it all together. You can go on Udemy, very little knowledge. You can probably get set up if you've already got a decent webcam. Even if you haven't, you probably, in the UK, you're probably setup costs. I could probably set someone up for about 100, 120 pounds, and they can start creating their own online education business. That's phenomenal. That's absolutely phenomenal.
Absolutely. This is the point. So if you've got something to share, look, there's people creating courses off their smartphones. Like, I've created my courses off GoPro Silver, and a smartphone, and recently updated to a Samsung Galaxy 6, which has got some pretty groovy HD video capabilities. My problem too was that I'm pretty much of a perfectionist, and I was having problems, as you know, Mark, because you helped me out with my lighting. I've since given up on that. I've just got the wall, and I've got my main light that I had as an overhead just coming in on me here. But what I was having trouble with my black background was that it was picking up too much of the light, and so then when I tried to change the contrast to turn it to a solid black, I was changing all sorts of colours, and there's parts of my body disappearing. And unfortunately, I didn't even realize when I first did that course, I recorded the whole thing in one hit. So I sat there for a couple of hours just recording all this video. Then when I came to the editing, it was, oh my God, no, my left arm has disappeared, my head just dropped off. I can't put this on Udemy. So I think in future now, I'm just sort of seeing what's happening in the background here. I think my future, I could probably even take this background out, because it's pretty. So I'm probably just going to set up my camera on my coffee table with my computer.
That's good enough. I think what it is, when you do your first Udemy course, you don't have to do talking heads. But I think Johnny's trying to join. But you don't have to do talking heads. You can start with a PowerPoint or a keynote presentation. But make sure you make an interesting one. Like, Udemy won't allow you just to stick a slide up on the screen for 6 minutes with some words on and talk like a podcast. But if you can create a podcast and at the same time a keynote presentation, you've got the basis for a course. Now, the reason we do talking heads is people connect with people. One of the ways people identify and remember people is we've got automatic face recognition technology built in. So the reason we would have some talking heads in a video is because people connect, they'll remember, there'll be a little bit more of a connection. It's really interesting when you do a lot of online video, and like, they'll start, after, you'll notice very quickly, it's subtle, but very quickly, they'll watch a hangout or two, and then they'll start talking to you like they know you, because they've seen face. So when we come to online education, that's where we want to go with talking heads. So like in your scenario, Tim, what you've got now, that's good lighting. That's perfectly adequate. The background is simple. Go with that. Go with what you can, actually get. Was you trying to chroma key your black background? Yeah, no, that was your problem. If you're going to chroma key, you want a green or blue background. Don't try it with black, because you're never going to get the separation on that.
Yeah, I've actually do a green background. I just can't find it because I've moved. But so what we're saying there is this what the talking head. So yeah, I'm a big fan of talking head. I actually sent you a sample of my first video that I did, and I had text being annotated across, and it was looking pretty flashy. But it said my left arm fell off, and a few other things happened, and then my eye went black. And so then I tried for about 2 or 3 weeks all these different lighting setups. And I was getting really frustrated because I wanted to do this course on Periscope, and I knew it was a big thing. I wanted to get it out there. So so in my course folder, I had videos take 1, videos take 2, videos take 3, videos take 4, and I went, it's not going to happen. So I'm just going to do screencasting. So my slides, like I think they're attractive and engaging and everything else. And they can always come back. And this is an important thing that people have to understand, is that you don't have to be happy with your course first time out. You can always come back and swap videos out. So over the course of time, I am going to swap some of those screencasts out with talking head.
Yeah.
Now, but at least the course is out there. When I first started looking at doing this course, there were 2 other courses on Udemy on Periscope. By the time I published the course, my course was the 5th, and now there are 6 courses. So, who knows how many courses are going to be out there on Periscope next month. Now, whether Blab is a course in itself, or whether I'm just going to put a Blab feature. And I've got to thank Mark, because Mark was the one who said, have a look at Blab. And then about 2 days later, I was invited onto a webinar about how to use Periscope and Blab. So it's amazing stuff.
I think one of the key things people need to understand as well, when you're using technology, or you're teaching a platform like Blab or Periscope, make sure you target, and this is really important on Udemy, make sure you target the niche audience. Don't do an introduction to Blab. If you do an introduction to Blab, make sure it's a free course. That'll be good, because then people will sign up for the free course, and then in the last lecture of that course, you can ask them to go to your paid course. You're allowed to do that on Udemy. So when you're thinking of using, you've got to compete, because what it is if anything becomes popular very quick, if you go on Udemy and you've got Facebook, Google Plus, you've got to find a niche audience, and you want to teach them how to use that tool and how to use the platform. So, Facebook for hairdressers, for instance, that's much more focused and showing people how to market on Facebook. If you're a hairdresser, how would you do that? Facebook for photographers, that's probably going to, or photography business marketing. That's the way you've got to think. You've got to think in terms of niche people. An easy way often to do that is think, why have you learned it, and why did you want to use it, and then teach other people to use it the way you found it. So the way I use Google Hangouts, for me, Google Hangouts is a Udemy marketing tool for me and the panelists. We get to get out there in front of people, and the reach is phenomenal. Our top Hangouts had over 4,500 views. That's a Hangout. But a lot of people at the moment are struggling with Hangouts. They've had Hangout shows for a long time. And the main reason they're struggling, I think the main reason, they're too general. Hangout shows, well, that's great, but if I want entertainment, I'll watch the TV. I'm not going on a Hangout for entertainment. I'm not going on a Blab now for Hangout, like you already hear, Tim. It's a great example. You're not going on here talking about Blab. You're going on here talking about online education, and you're using the tool, and that's what it is. So, when it comes to using any of these tools, it's got to be part of a marketing funnel. It's got to have a specific purpose, and it's a great way of getting your face out there and getting people to know you. And, for me, Hangouts, absolutely fantastic. Blabs, I'm going to need to understand it a little bit more to see how it works. I think Blabs might be really good. Hangouts are really good. The way I'm starting to see it is this time. I don't know if you agree with it. It's really interesting. But Hangouts is really good for building up a Google Plus and a YouTube presence, because they're the native platform. Blabs is probably going to be very good for building up a Twitter presence, because feed is Hangouts for Twitter, is essentially what it is. So you start thinking like that. So I see a lot of people going, I'm not doing Hangouts anymore, I'm going to do a Blab. Well, hang on a minute.
It's different tools for different purposes. It's like, one minute I'm talking about Periscope, next minute I'm talking about Blab. Two totally different things. I can't go blabbing in back of house at a concert at a seminar. I can't take Blab into, well, at the moment I can't take Blab into the change room and show people how to do strapping. I can't. So there are different tools for different purposes. The way I see the Blab, as I was saying to Johnny earlier, is that I think we're on the bleeding edge of a brave new world, and where I think maybe webinars, where webinar services are extremely expensive. You've got to do your slide decks and everything else. Whereas this sort of situation gives you the best of both worlds, because often in a webinar situation you are sort of coaching. So I think in a coaching scenario, as long as, because we can't do anything privately here, so this is open to anybody who wants to come in. I don't know whether the Blab lets you, or there's a possibility of doing anything privately on Blab. There's ways to do things privately on Periscope, but I don't think so on Blab. So if you're happy to do things publicly, this is an ideal coaching scenario where people can ask their questions, but also they can jump into the hot seat and be coached on.
And the other thing about what I do like about Blab is when it comes to, and I heard Ronnie Benson talking about this yesterday. I was watching a Blab he was on, and I think you've got to understand the differentiation between like a Hangout and a Blab. Now, a Hangout as a marketing tool is absolutely phenomenal as long as your Hangouts are focused on a niche interest that you've got an audience for. And there's so many people doing Hangouts, and like I said, they're too general, and they're not finding a niche subject to do a Hangout, because people will watch Hangouts if it's something they want to learn and they're interested in. But it's the creme de la creme. You're going to get a YouTube video at the end of it. You're going to, and it's seamless. You just do the Hangout, and then the Hangout stops, and all of a sudden you've got a YouTube video. You optimize that, stick that on the web, searchable, you're done.
Well, by the same token, though, with the Blab, at the end of it, you get, as long as you hit the record button, which I forgot for the first 5 minutes. But I'm new. I did say in the tag it was my first Blab, so no apologies. But the point is that at the end of it, once I see, because I'm the host, so everything will keep on rolling while I'm active, right? But once I leave everybody leaves this room, I get sent an email saying, here's a link to download the audio and the MP4. So we do actually end up with a video and an audio out of this, which we can use. Like as a podcaster, I can now cut into this audio and in a future podcast episode and bring some amazing value, because what you shared and what Johnny shared, I can now.
That's exactly what I do with my Hangouts. My Hangouts, I extract the audio, and that becomes part of my podcast, And I don't at this point dress it up too much. I know you've got a much more professional podcast than me at the moment, Tim, but I'm just really taking my Hangout and putting it out there for people. I'm not spending too much time, because I want people to have access. And I think that's what's different, interesting about Blabs. What I'm really interested in is you can run a Blab on a mobile. You can't run a Hangout on a mobile. I've got a MacBook here of 8 gig of RAM. It's I bought it 4 months ago, very modern MacBook. And when I run a Hangout on it, it's taking like 60% of my resources.
Wow.
But you need that. But I really want the full quality. So 60% of resources. The advantage Blab has is it's relatively easy to join as long as you're not using a MacBook, as we learned today. It's relatively easy to join, and you can run it on a mobile device. Now, that means we've just opened up that demographic we were talking about earlier, because all of a sudden they can Blab. So now you can have a Blab with a student in India, or Zimbabwe or South Africa that don't have access to the internet and couldn't do a Hangout. So I see it as, a really interesting time. It's going to be interesting to see how Google respond to this, because Google have been resting on their laurels with Hangouts. They've not really done anything with it. They're just all at the moment worried about being Alphabet and all the rest of it, and they're not focusing on their core products. And it's going to be really interesting how they respond, because these guys have done this clever. They've jumped in, you connect to Twitter, you can do it on a mobile. It's simple. We did have a question. Someone said, it's a good question, actually. Sanjay, how can anyone create a course about Blab and charge money when Blab is still very much in beta? The Wild West had more ethics, it seems. And I think what it is, Sanjay, is understanding what we're saying here. Now, when we talk about using Blab, we're talking about how would we fit that into a marketing funnel, not, I want to charge you $10 for a 5-minute tutorial on how to switch Blab on. That's not how the way you teach Blab. You teach Blab. How would you use it in this scenario? How's it going to get you followers? What you need to do and you're talking in terms of marketing funnel. And that's the way I would sort of see a course on Blab. Is that the way you're thinking, Tim?
Yeah, and also like the Periscope, but there's plenty of courses out there on how to use Periscope for business, like how to sell, how to fill your coaching course platform with and with the same sort of thing with Blab, like how to use this tool for your business. Like saying that the title of this Blab is Discover the Power of Blab for Online Instructors and Coaches. So how online instructors and coaches can use this tool and why they should use this tool to interact and engage and bring their students and coaching clients more value. And at the end of the day, if you teach somebody how to bring value, both to, because then if you bring value, then value will flow to you, but they might enroll in one of your programs and that sort of stuff. So that's what we're talking about mainly is not exactly right. Not a 5-minute tutorial on how to, because you can find it on YouTube anyway. These are tactics and strategies and how to improve your business and how to get face to face.
Yeah, I think I would probably pay $10 earlier though to figure out how to log in.
Yeah, Mark, you make a great point, and I wanted to just mention something I saw a couple days ago. So someone brand new to Blab informed their list of 72,000 people that he was going to be on in an hour, and within over 1,000 people. And Sean, the CEO here, or as he likes to be called, the head coach of Team Blab, which I love that. These guys are so personable. They just come in and jump into, like Google did in the very beginning with Chichu and Vic, but not anymore. So anyway, my point is that when you interview somebody who has A-list standing, has a lot of people, they can bring a lot of people over here. And not only will it benefit you who interview that person, but it's such an open platform here that they'll go, oh, what else is here? See that on the front page, and everybody else can take advantage of all of these other people, because people who are interested in A, right, are also interested in B. So that might be something that we can put in the course for Blab as well, rather than the how-to, but the mindset and the strategy behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the marketing funnel of this. You reach a wider audience. Hangouts, in the sense, when you're creating a hangout, and this is why I use it. I'm going to be totally honest. This is why I use it. When I do a hangout, you probably get 40 to 50 viewers on a hangout, which is good. Not many people actually get 40 to 50 viewers on this show. We've got a very niche audience, very engaged and interested, and they're great. But the real strength with hangouts is that they go to that YouTube video, and that's just sitting there forever. So, and people just come along and they're watching, and now they're being exposed to people in the hangout, and it's proper funnel marketing. It's people getting to hear you, to listen to you, to realise you have got expertise, can be trusted, you do know what you're talking about, and that helps them come down into your funnel. So this, what's really interesting, is it becomes the top of the quicker funnel, and that for me is.
I don't know, Tim, are we losing sound here with Mark? It's getting progressively worse. Mark, you've had a hiss. And I've been able to tolerate it, but it's getting worse, and now you're getting very low on your volume.
Let me see if my mic goes.
Yeah, that's why I was just reaching for my earbuds, because I didn't know whether it was actually feedback or what was going.
Yeah, it's coming from Mark, because when I muted him earlier, it disappeared. So it's coming from Mark, yeah, and it's tough to hear. But yeah, see, this is like a watering hole. I think this is going to be, I don't know if you guys have heard the term TV 2.0, but what Sean has said, the CEO here has said, push a button, start a show, start a TV show. So click a button, start a TV show. That's really what they want people here. They want to have us create great content and then have the people come for the content, but stay for the person or the host. And that's really what happens, because we all gravitate to certain personality types. And yes, you can get the same kind of learning from just about anybody, right? But some people you learn better from because there's synergy and chemistry, whereas the other person, it's like,
Exactly. Yeah. Sure. We've got Nick calling in, so we'll see how we can help Nick.
Hey,
Nick.
how's everyone?
Welcome.
Can you hear me all right?
yes.
All right, great. So, yeah, I've been listening in, and I think there's some great information you guys are telling everyone. So I have a couple of questions, and I'll just give you a little bit of an idea of why I'm calling in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on helping my cousin. He's writing a book, and I told him that doing online courses would really be a great thing, because he's got some practical tools that you can use that can really like enhance your life. And some of them are really good. And if he put it into an online course, which he hasn't finished the book yet, but if you put it into an online course, it would be just really great to be able to set it up that way. And like you guys said, it's like having a book, but it's just better because it's more interactive and everything like that. But the thing is I'm not exactly sure where to start with everything. We want to start with the book, and I like the idea of using Blab because he can start gaining an audience by actually interacting with specific people who have things that they want to enhance their life with, in different areas. So I guess my question is pretty general, but it's kind of like, where should I kind of start with everything, and what kind of tools should I use to get myself going?
Can you hear me okay, guys? I've got the new microphone.
Now, just before we start, Roy, can we just Johnny's back in the room. Can we just drop you off to let Johnny in so Johnny can put some feedback into this as well?
Drop me off, or
No, not Nick. No, Nick. Thanks for that, Roy, and thanks for popping in.
Just checking my audio, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, mate. We got you.
Just to answer that question, Nick, this is almost counterintuitive, but it's thinking in terms of a marketing funnel before you even start. And most people come to the process of course creation, and they're thinking in terms of having a course, but they don't give much thought to their marketing funnel. So what you're asking here is some really, really good questions, because, yeah, you can create a course, but you can stick that on Udemy. You're not guaranteed sales. So you've got to think in terms of marketing funnel. So I'm genuinely of the opinion, if you're operating online in any way, in a service-based industry, or you're educating, it's almost a crime not to have a course. Okay? So it's like you've got a product. You've got one product that you can sell at the end of the engagement. So what happens with a lot of businesses, they go online, they do a lot of social media, and there's no product at the end. Or their product is their service. And that service might be £1,000 a day. And that then becomes really difficult for someone to sell, because there's nothing there for someone who wants to buy something to purchase. Does that make sense? So by creating a course, what you've done is you've made sure that you've got a product. So the way I think about it is you've got to think in terms of a marketing funnel, but you have to work backwards. The first thing you do is you create your course. And then after that, you've got your course, that's great. And then most people stop there, and that's where they fail. Most people stop there and they go, I've got a course, it's not selling. Well, they haven't finished building the business, because you've got to create the funnel now. You've got to create the marketing funnel that brings people down. So he's working on a book. Great. Have a course as well. Because if you've got a book on Kindle, you can link to your course and cross-sell. And then you can cross-sell your course back to your book. And with online stuff, the more digital product you've got, the better. So for me, if anyone says, where do I start? I say, okay, we need to be thinking about marketing funnels. We start with that idea. We need a marketing funnel. We've got to build that. But the first thing we need to build is the actual course. Because once you've got the course, there's no point building a funnel, because you're feeding people in. There's no course at the end. If you've got the course, you can start building the funnel in reverse. So you've got your course. So let's just describe how we would do that practically. So we've got the course. Now what do we need? Well, now we're going to need some way to deliver that to someone So we need to create a newsletter list. Okay, so now we've got a newsletter list. And what we're going to do on the newsletter list? Well, we're going to educate people about our course material for free. We're going to save the best stuff. We're going to save the best stuff for last. But so now we've got a course. Now we've got a newsletter list. How are we going to get sign-ups? So now we need interest content. We need interest content with people. That's great. So now we've got interest content. How are we going to get attention? We call this the ADA marketing flow. So attention, interest, desire, action. But the way you actually build it is you work in action, and you build your desire, then you build your interest, and now you work on your attention. And if you can do that, and you've got a course people want to buy, and you figure out where to put the attention part, you can make some good money. So when you think of a course, think, I need to start here. There's all these other elements I need to do. And that's what so many people fail their courses. Like, why aren't you going to be selling my course?
Not their job. The thing is, too, just it's a great way to start with the course, because then what you can do is you can actually strip the audio out of your course content, send it off to get transcribed, and they can either pay for transcription or you can use free transcription services like VoiceBase. You get your text back, and then because obviously the text is going to be perfect for a book because you're in a more conversational mode when you're doing the video. Massage that text, and you've already got 80% of the book done just by transcribing your course material. But then, as Mark correctly said, then in that first 10% of your book, because when you're on Amazon, they can see the first 10%. You make sure you put a special offer back to your course. And some people say, but what if they don't buy the book? Well, who cares? Like if you're selling a book for $2 or $5, and they follow a link back to your course and buy your course for whatever you're offering, who cares if they bought the Kindle or not? Johnny?
Yeah, I'm. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Yeah, the whole world crashed around me technically here. I don't know. Somebody broke the internet for a while or something.
My gremlins jumped to you, Johnny.
Say again. The audio's gone pretty low as well, but
my gremlins jumped to you. Did you catch that?
I didn't get that. I didn't even hear that. I don't know why. I'm going to try.
It's really low, Mark. I don't know why.
You're gone very low, Mark.
It's hard for me to hear the audio as well. It keeps kind of ducking in and out.
Yeah, Nick. So is it, your question is where to start? Now that you nearly have a book, where to start with creating the course? Yeah,
basically, I'm just kind of looking for an all-around general plan of what I should do. Now, we got a domain name, and we're thinking about getting some hosting and that done. And I was looking into, of course, WordPress, and the Genesis theme looked intriguing, and even coupled with Dynamic, I was reading about, because it's really versatile, so that when you want to change to including something more than just a blog, then you have the ability to do that and change the way that it looks a lot easier than most of these other templates. But it looks like it could be quite a lot of work to start out with too, though.
Can you hear me okay now? I've whacked my volume up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think in terms of delivery, you can set up a simple marketing funnel on. You don't have to have a very specific WordPress. You don't have to. If you're happy to use Udemy as your back end, as your shopping cart, as something where you can deliver the product. Like, I use Squarespace. I've built my marketing funnel on Squarespace. I use Squarespace. It's so stable and so easy to use. Eventually, I'll have a custom WordPress site built. I know that. But right now, that does that absolutely fine for me. And I'm paying about $10, $20 a month for the privilege of using Squarespace. And if you just search for SME Heroes, you'll see. And you'll have a look at my marketing funnel as well. So, when it comes to figuring out those parts, it doesn't have to be super fancy. You don't need to start with lead pages. You don't need all these things. I'd just say keep it as simple as possible. Maybe use WordPress, look at Squarespace, but understand how the marketing funnel works first, because especially an ADA marketing funnel, because once you've got that in your head, the tools, it's just a question of using which tool works for you. Does that sort of help me?
Yeah, I was just kind of concerned with using something other than WordPress if I was planning on going with it, or even everything else that I was talking about. Like, in order to upgrade it, I was just concerned that I may not be able to switch things over to another platform easily. Like, how does that work with Squarespace? Can you just move it over to WordPress and you...
No, Squarespace is a little bit different because it's a content management system. But what you can do, and what I did, was I set up a Fedora school on a subdomain, and then coded it so it looked the same, so that you couldn't even tell that there was a difference between the two. So you can set up a Fedora school on the back end on a subdomain, and then attach that to any websites. If you've already got a website, you can do it that way. Disadvantage of a subdomain sometimes is you're splitting your traffic. Although people look on your website and they see your website and a subdomain, they don't see that. They just see it looks like one website to them. You are splitting your traffic, so that's not necessarily advantageous long term, because you want Google to pick up your site for your keywords. And if you're splitting the traffic, the traffic's passing between the two sites, you're not going to get the SEO value long term that you would having on one site. There's some great WordPress themes out there, though. I don't particularly use them. I don't need them at the moment, but there's some great WordPress themes out there specifically designed for building courses. So it might be just have a look out there and start with one of those, and start as you mean to go on. You've got to understand, with me, I started with Squarespace and then discovered Udemy. I was already doing online training, so I had to fit it in around. But if you're in the unique position where you can start, just start with WordPress, find one of the themes, and I'd suggest start there. Don't you think, Tim?
Yeah, I've now, how's my volume, by the way? Because I've just gone over to Bud. So can you hear me all right?
Yeah, it sounded good.
Okay, cool. So I've actually had experience in sort of all these platforms, because even before I went on to Udemy, I went on to WordPress and I used a plugin called WP Courseware, which is a really, really good, powerful plugin. It costs about $97, and that allows you to have three separate sites running, and then under those sites you can have unlimited courses. So that site's really good. My problem came into hooking that into an e-commerce site, and everything fell over because of my host. Not so much my the WordPress plugin is great, and you have a school that looks exactly like Udemy or Fedora, that sort of stuff. You can code it up beautifully. My problem was that my host that I've got at the moment.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
My phone's just gone really weird. You got to love. I haven't even touched it, and it's anyway. My host was blocking some of the calls, some of the API calls between the Commerce plugin and the WP Courseware. Because what I wanted to do, I wanted to set up a affiliate program with JVZoo, because I've got this taping program which is very, very niche. So I've got partners who are keen to promote the course, but they found the Udemy affiliate program just blew them out of the water. They had no idea how it worked, and they said, we're not going to touch it until you get another affiliate program. So that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to set up a link between the WP Courseware on my site with some e-commerce link across to JVZoo, and it all fell to pieces with my particular service provider, my particular host. I am looking at changing over to a Bluehost and seeing how that works, because that is still an avenue I want to travel down. But yeah, I think if you're new to it, you can find yourself in this landmine of trying to put all these things together and then not knowing which one's not working.
I think Fedora is a good place to start. I mean, even stepping back from the technology, I'm guessing, Nick, that you're at a point where the book is nearly finished and everything else is brand new. Like, from getting a website, the whole lot's brand new from a technical side. Is that right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I appreciate the what the guys are saying, but for me, I think you're at a point where you have a book and everything else is brand new. So I think a place to start is, even before the technology, is, because a book isn't naturally a course. It's a lot of the content from the book will be great content for the course. So what you have is the script for the movie, but you don't have lights, camera, and action. So you got to go, what elements of the book can be a course. And simply what a course is that when somebody does your course, or even a video within your course, they now know and can do something that they couldn't do before. So you got to take the book and strip it back and go, what elements of this is actually related to the course? So you got to map out your course content.
Yeah. And
then you got to decide how much of this is going to be on camera, how much of it is going to be off camera. Does it lend itself to be 90% off camera with recording some PowerPoint where you talk people through various things that they need to do in order to get what they want to get from the course?
Yeah, I think a lot of it would be video, just because it's
on camera
nicer. Yeah,
like Head and Shoulders or whatever. Yeah, well then you got to decide. Well, at an overall high level, take out your packet of Post-its and go. What is, after the introduction to the course, what is section 1? In other words, like if you take for me, I've got an ebook called Earning with E-Learning, basically how to get started with an online course. And for me, it's chapter 1 is like, start blogging, start getting the content out of your head and into a blog, because ultimately that's what a course is. It's content out of your head and on screen for people to access. So you need to decide what section 1 of your course is, what section 2 is going to be, what section 3 is going to be, and what is the heading. And within the sections, what are the how-to videos going to cover?
Yeah.
And don't you mightn't even make the entire book a course. You might take a chapter of the book, and that's going to be course number 1, and it's going to be 30 minutes long. It's going to have 10 3-minute videos, and it's going to take, because an awful lot of thinking now around online course creation is one problem, one solution. The day of the 6-hour course is probably gone. It's like, give me a 30-minute course. Give me a 3-minute course if it solves my problem. But wow. I'm not going to buy a 3-minute course. Well, maybe skill feed, but so what is the first course you can create? Because if you've never created a course before, the huge benefit of creating your first course is not the money. It's going through the process of creating the course. It's like if you've never ran a marathon, the first thing you do is after walking, obviously, is run for even a couple of minutes just to run. And so you got to create your first short course. You might never even sell it. And so I would probably even use Udemy's thoughts on a little bit of best practice on what they suggest, but need to map out a course. How can I take somebody from A to B and leave C, D, and E for other courses? Because if you make an awesome course out of this first book, there's no upsell, and you kind of go, well, what's my next course?
Yeah,
because we need a product staircase. We need to have a couple of courses to provide to people for real income. So I would look at your book, take the first chapter and make a course out of it, and the huge value out of that is going through the process, because you will learn so much about you and the guy that wrote the book, about like we all look at what others have done and look at the awesome videos and look how great the lighting is and look how great the audio is. None of us and none of them either started like that. So it's like singing into the hairbrush in the bathroom, or whatever. It's like, you learn so much about you and your style of delivery and everything else. So just make that quick, short course it's going to take people from A to B, and the process would be the benefit. And then from there, talk to us again. I think Fedora is awesome. I've used various others. Even to use Fedora, set up your free account, put in the course section heading, the lectures underneath, And as you actually see the course unfold in front of you, you'll go, well, actually, that should go there and that should go there, and you can drag and drop.
So do you think it's a good idea to go with the free version first? Because I was actually at a webinar today, and they were giving all kinds of free, I guess, like ebooks and things like that go along with it if you go with even their next one up, the basic one, which is $30 a month. But
yeah, I mean, you get as Mark said, you get the subdomain, so it looks more professional to have that subdomain. And I mean, the 8% versus 10, etc. That's not going to be a huge decision, because 8 or 10% of 0 is still 0. So the only big plus, I think, for the pro version, apart from all the free courses and stuff, is the domain and the lesser percentage. There's a couple of other little features, but to get started, the free is fine, just for you because what you want to do is see progress every day towards the course. You want to you want to see these little small wins. So when you set up your school and you upload your potential logo and some and you get the colors that look like your colors, and you add no content, only the heading of the section and the heading of the lecture, and you see the course unfold in front of you, you go, I'm actually making progress here. I've actually got a course set up. All I need to do is create the content. Now, creating the content is a huge piece as well, but you'd be overwhelmed with affiliates, coupons, Udemy, yada yada yada, when you hear all about this stuff from the beginning. So small, easy steps at the beginning, tangible results on a daily basis, and then you get into the habit of doing, and getting into kind of Tony Robbins stuff here, but get into the habit of doing one action at least every day that that you can actually tangibly see that you're making progress.
Can I say something there too for you?
Can I just add some points to what Johnny was saying quickly? I think when it comes to creating your first course, and this is really, and Johnny was touching on this, and I really want to just add to that really. What the mistake people make is the mega course. They want their first course to be a mega course because they think their first course is going to be the one that makes them $1 million. And that's subconsciously, we all make our first course. This is my $1 million course. And what happens is it's not $1 million course. You create an 8-hour course. It's the mega course, the end all mega courses. It doesn't sell and you get discouraged.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is create small modular-based courses, like Johnny was saying. So think modular, think people solving problems. That's the way to go. It's not how to solve, a particular problem. Now, the advantage of going through Udemy, when you go through the Udemy process, I would say 2 things. Probably think about making a free course as your first course on Udemy, because it's a throwaway course almost, but make it good enough in your own mind that you can actually turn it to paid later, because what you can do is you can release it free, maybe get 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 students on it, and now turn it to paid. So then you've got some reviews, you've got some engagement, everything's going. You'll get a few more negative reviews by releasing it free. I will give you that warning, but that happens. But once it's paid, that sorts itself out. But what actually happens is, when you go through the Udemy process, because it's so strict, it teaches you how to create good courses. Now, I come from a video production background, so I just thought, we produce commercial videos for clients. We're talking 2, 3, 4, £5,000 videos. So I come to Udemy and think, I've got it. I'm there. They're not going to, and they kicked me back, and I couldn't believe they kicked me back. And they kicked me back on a couple of things. And I've been doing online education. If just to get started sometimes, if you just go through Udemy, just create that first small course. I think that'll really help you learn how to create a course. And I think you sort of touched on that earlier as well, Johnny, but I just really wanted to sort of bring that out.
Can I also just add there too about, we talk about one problem, one solution, and that's a very big thing in internet marketing these days, because it's like writing a course on golf. Now, are you going to write a course that covers the entire game of golf and it's going to take you 3 years and you want to sell it for $9 million? Or do you want to write a course that's going to show them how to putt, and then write a course that shows them how to increase their drive, and then show a course to show them how to get out of the bunker. And each of those courses are then on sale. And you've also got to think about Udemy and their constant discounting policy, that if you develop this course, it's 8-hour course, and you put a price on it, which is a max now at $300, and then you get really disheartened when you see it being sold for $10, right? But if you create a course that shows one particular skill and it goes for an hour or so, and you say put a $47 price tag or a $97 price tag on it, then it's not going to hurt as much when it goes for $10. And then you've also then got that audience when you bring out the how to increase your drive by 50 meters course to actually upsell to. And then when you bring out the course on how to get out of the bunker and how to do this and how to do that, all of a sudden you're making $100 even on their discounted versus just the $10. The other thing too, I just want to briefly talk about Fedora, because I'm only new to Fedora, and I've got the free version, right? I will be updating to the $30 because I need to get an affiliate program happening. But there's nothing wrong with the free. I've got students on there. I've just got a simple link on my blog saying courses, which takes them through the front page of my free Udemy course. So yeah, and minimum viable product for your free course. You can plot out a 90-minute course and only release a portion of that as a free course, as a teaser, as a feed-in, and then you can either, as Mark said, send a link across to the paid full version, or you can pad it out along the way and then turn it from a free course into a paid course once you add in that information. And people like to see courses grow over time. So if they can see there's actually new content being added, that gives them a warm, fuzzy feeling as well.
Nice. All right. I didn't know that you could change the prices later, or can you, on the ones that you already put out for free?
Yeah.
Cool. So that's really good that it's flexible.
Yeah, just don't change them down, because you'll piss off the people who paid the upper price.
Yeah.
Correct. It always go up, never go down.
You just give discounts, like discount codes or whatever, if you want to go
less.
I
mean, if Fedora's got affiliates, it's got the coupon system, and that's one thing about the paid. I mean, affiliates, should be a big part of your marketing. Your best affiliate, your best evangelist is a student who got value from the course. And while you'd hope that they would spread the good word for free, and some will, a little bit of a financial incentive will definitely encourage them. And you can be quite generous with your commissions, because if you've got a €95 course or $1 course or even 45 or whatever, you might think giving half of that away is crazy. But if you consider what you spend to get that sale, and the time and everything else, and it's still not converting as much as you'd like, and then somebody with trust in the market has got Twitter followers, and they tweet and suddenly they generate a few sales, you'd spend a lot of money getting to those people and convincing them and nurturing them over time anyway. So I would highly recommend the affiliate system. And of course the coupon system allows you to maintain the price, just obviously charge less, rather than going, it's €50 today, and it'll be 100 tomorrow. I mean, there's options and ways of doing that too, but I mean, it's 100, but here's a discount code for promo. So, but I genuinely, if you're just starting out from scratch, you need to be conscious of all the things you could be doing. Blabbing, webinars, podcasting, all that kind of stuff. And that'll all come. You just need to, in my view, be it Udemy or Fedora, I mean, the ultimate goal is a course, so take one action every day to do that. And Fedora is a great way to do that, as is Udemy, because they'll give you feedback on your quality as well.
Well, with Udemy and Fedora, that people don't realize, you can actually take your Udemy course and directly import it into Fedora.
Yeah.
So that's a really good point, because you can have the best of both worlds. Now, when it comes to splitting your marketing, that's different. I'm talking about it on Sunday in a hangout. But what one of the things as well is there's another platform called Zenler. They're a new platform. They're a very interesting platform. They've been around for a little while, but they're Zenler. And what they have just done, which is really interesting, they've done an auto update feature. So what that means is when you update your Udemy course, you can just refresh the course in Zenler and it will update. Now, the only problem I've got with Fedora at the moment, I do have a problem with Fedora I want to tell people about. I want to keep it completely open. And I've moaned at them about this. I've been moaning and moaning and moaning. Is they're not EU VAT compliant. Now, early this year, there was a VAT mess in Europe. You know, the EU is like, you know, a bureaucrat's heaven. And what they brought out was this thing called VAT MOS, where you have to claim VAT back on a digital on a digital purchase. Now, what happened was Zenler sorted that out, Udemy sorted that out, so you don't have to worry about it. They take care of that because it's just a nightmare. You need 2 pieces of transactional information. It's the EU. You know, they couldn't make it more complicated if they tried. Now, Fedora is still resolving that. They're working on it, but I've been moaning at them for the last 9 months because it should have been done 9 months ago. So please be aware of that. When you use Fedora, there could be a EU VAT issue later down the road. Now, the problem we've got is Fedora are not sorting it out themselves. For us to sort it out, we would need the transaction information, which Fedora hold. We don't get that. So it's something for everyone who's on Fedora to keep moaning at Fedora about. Get this EU VAT sorted out. Now, they've assured me they've got their top programmer working on it. I just wanted people to be aware of that when you go there, especially in the EU, because even if you're in the US, you still have to collect this tax. It's crazy because you're selling to someone in. So Udemy will do that for you. Zenler will do that for you. Fedora working on it.
Cool.
All right. Well, I do have to go, but it's been great chatting with you guys. I followed you, so I'll definitely be looking forward to any new topics that you've got, and I'll probably join in on some other conversations. But I do have to go, so thank you very much.
Thanks, Nick, for popping into the room. Great talking to you. Okay, guys, this has been thanks, Roy, and thank you, Roy, for all your help. Thank you for getting Mark into the room, and thank you for guiding us through this first blab for me as well. You've been a massive help, and I look forward to blabbing with you again in the future. This has been going on now for just over an hour and a half, so it's probably time to wrap up. If there's any last questions, please put a /Q and question into the chat. And Mark, do you have any sort of parting comments before we do a wrap?
Yeah, I just encourage people to go on Udemy, take some free courses, have a look at what's going on there. But this is a seed. You know, education is a commodity. Educational content is a commodity, and it's residual in nature, because what it means is you can create one course and you can keep selling it and selling it and selling it. I just wanted to just add something earlier. You was talking about one of the things is creating cluster of courses, Tim, like you was talking about with the golf analogy. I did that. I sent out some promotions this week, and I had a few people. They didn't buy one course on photography. They bought 5 courses. Are you with me? They paid $10. I went 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. That one client was $50. Bang, straight there. That's it. You know, because I cluster my courses, and I'm creating a new course on how to run a Udemy business. So keep your eye out for that. But you know, cluster my courses so that so it happens, it works. You know, and whenever I send out an announcement, I get 2, 3, or 4 of those just on one announcement. So you start thinking think in terms of building a business, but first of all, just start getting familiar with creating courses first. I think that's probably where I would start. Take some free courses. Have a look at what people are doing. I put a link in there to my free course on creating your first Udemy course. Check that out. See what I did there. See how I then upsell my main course from that as a good example. You know, but just start really thinking about residual income, you know, education as a commodity, you know, and how you can start creating that income. And it's wonderful when the sales come in. You wake up in the morning, you've been sleeping, you've been earning money. Trust me, it's absolutely amazing.
It's great. Just open up that email account and it's bang, 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 bang. It gives you a warm, fuzzy feeling, that's for sure. Mark, if you'd like to drop a link to your OB community link as well while I give my wrap up, I think that's something that people interested in this blab would also benefit from. Okay, so basically the topic of this Blab was the power of Blab for online instructors and coaches. And I think what we've demonstrated here is that to be able to sit here and have a conversation with fellow experts and to answer questions not only in the sideline, but to actually bring somebody into the room and interact with them one-on-one and actually guide them and answer their questions is a very, very powerful tool for coaches and online instructors. And as I said, our courses are basically static information, and our courses go all around the world, so we're not always talking to native or people who speak our native language, because our course may not even be in English. It would be in our native tongue. And so we've got to always take into consideration that sometimes, especially as English speakers, that English is sometimes other people's second, third, fourth, fifth language. And we've got to be very clear. And sometimes when we do our courses, we use jargon and slang. And like, I live in Australia. If I started to speak like an Australian, nobody would understand me other than Australians. And I think this is important. Like even my friends over in the UK, when I ask them, how you traveling, mate? And they go, I'm traveling, I'm not going anywhere. I'm actually asking them if they're well. So you see, simple things like even to another English speaker can be miscomprehended. So having these sort of environments like Blab and Periscope to be able to come online and speak and make sure, and then if we give an answer and somebody isn't clear, then they just come back and say, no, I still haven't got that. So that was the topic, and the purpose of this Blab was to demonstrate to you that as an instructor and a coach, how you can help people and clarify and make sure that your message is getting across and to take them further. Because at the end of the day, what we want to do is we want to guide people to their learning objectives, and we've got to give our time. And I think that's the other mistake that a lot of online instructors make, is that they post their course and then they sit back and they wait for the money to hit the bank. And it doesn't. You have got to be interactive. You've got to be available to your students. And the most successful instructors are the ones that are not just doing it because the money, because people are going to pick up on that as well. They're the ones who genuinely are there for their students and coaching staff. Like I said, with Mark with his OV community as well. That's where the real gold is, and that's where you build the relationships that's going to end up building your business. Thank you, Mark. I really appreciate you coming on, and I will, now that I've got got my son's MacBook, I'll be joining you on a panel real soon. Thank you to everybody coming on tonight. I know that some of you have got up at a very ugly time of morning to join. It's different times of day all over the world. Thank you, everybody. Really, really appreciate you. Appreciate your time. I wish you all the best in your online course and coaching endeavors. And please keep an eye out for future Blabs. And we will be doing at different times throughout the day for different ones to make sure that we are catering for everybody in the different parts of the world. But thank you.